Harmonies, Victoria here. Thanks for joining. Hope you're feeling in tune today. I'm hoping that this video will bring you some good comfort and soothe your senses. Today we're going to see Jodi have the second part of her core therapy treatment, working on her legs and a sacral float, which is just the most beautiful, relaxing treatment. So thank you for liking, commenting. Please hit the bell so you never miss another premiere, and also buy me a coffee to support the channel. That would really help. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Let me know in the chat how you're feeling. Let's spread a little healing.
So here I am, just picking up Jodi's right foot, and at first just introducing my hands, feeling into the softness, the palpability of the fascia of Jodi's foot, the structure, and I'm just working my thumb around the base of the ball of the toe, feeling how it gives, but also I'm encouraging it to soften and to give way, because the more softness that we have in our feet, the more they are able to support us, and these will actually align our knees and pelvis if our feet are in the right position. And now using the leg as a lever on the pelvis by holding the foot, just bouncing the foot out in a particular fashion out to one side. And now doing a sacral fixation where I'm actually studying the sacrum while using both feet as levers to realign the balance, the posture of the sacrum. So good, so important for the whole structure of the body. Now I'm enjoying working on a sacral float, which means two hands overlapping while Jodi sinks deeper and deeper into her beautiful reverie and finds herself. The two hands overlapping here are tuning into the energy of the pelvis, feeling whether there is any movement. So the pelvis should actually be rotating in a figure of 8 fashion. You okay? Oh, that's nice. One of the main reasons we apply a sacral float during a core therapy treatment is to tune in to the manner that the pelvis is aligned while checking out the cerebral spinal fluid that actually has a pulse. And this pulse is not aligned to our breath or our heart rate. It has its own pulse. And the fluid pulses around the brain and down the side of the spine in the dural tube, and this dural tube is tracked at S2, which is sacral bone number 2, just underneath my palms, and then comes back up the spine to continue its journey back around the brain and down again. So obviously the tube is present at all of those places, including through the neck. So the sacrum and the neck are so important to treat during core therapy. During this part of the treatment, I can become very, very in tune with the patient on the couch, with the movement of the pelvis and the pulse of the fluid. And what I'm trying to facilitate is simply the correct flow of that fluid and the movement of the pelvis. The heat under my hands, being double-handed at this point, can be quite intense, but it is felt in a very reassuring and calming manner by the person on the couch. You can see here it's making me smile. It makes me feel so rewarded that the pelvis is moving beautifully. And then to finish off the sacral float, this qigong healing treatment, I have my hand at the very top of the fluid movement around the brain, at the back of the cranium, but also still with one hand on the sacrum. And I'm feeling the relationship between the top and the bottom. And after a couple of minutes here, a few breaths, I will wait until there is a deep release where I can feel that the spine lengthens. It's quite subtle, but to a therapist it's actually quite obvious. The most amazing sensation for both the receiver and the giver. Okay, nice and slowly, just bring yourself round, have a couple of deeper breaths, and when you're ready you can turn over onto your back. Just give me your arm, nice and loose. Bend your elbow. Lovely and loose. I've got you. This is called an arm repatterning, a Chinese technique from the toolbox of TCM, where I'm literally winding the arm in two different directions in order to create the right alignment of the fascia and the skeletal system, which will help the shoulder. It's using the arm as a lever in order to work on the shoulder and the neck. Coming to the other arm, and of course Jodi came in reporting that she was having some tight shoulder issues from all the work leaning over clients working in the salon. And again, you can see here how I'm using the arm to loosen any tightness from the muscles around the arm and the muscles across the top of the shoulder into the neck. It can look like a strange movement, but actually it feels amazing. Once you release, once you let the therapist just take hold and let them do their thing, it feels incredible. And now, having done some arm repatterning to both arms, shoulders, I'm now working on a qigong float, feeling the energy to both joints of the elbow and the wrist on the right hand side, and helping to encourage that healing, that letting go up into the shoulder and the neck. Now coming back to the left side, and of course these shoulders did come up in the kinesiology muscle tests at the start. So Jodi is right-handed and her right shoulder was hurting her, but actually the left shoulder was the one telling me that there is some misalignment there. So I'm really feeling that energy. I've got one palm under the elbow, another under the wrist. I'm hardly moving the arm at all, just very subtly feeling the heat, the movement, whether there's any clicks and crunches, and making sure that there is a good flow of energy. Now feeling into the lower legs and the feet, feeling my thumbs into the side of those leg bones, which help me find out if there's any tension down there, which obviously would then be felt in the pelvis. And during the contralateral test that came up earlier, Jodi's right wrist seemed not to be quite in position. So I'm just working on the joint of the wrist, the fascia, but also the energy that flows from the body to the hand via the wrist. I'm working out if there is a sense of a blockage, any stagnation at the wrist, and encouraging a good flow, some good chi. Having tuned in to that sense, I'm now using my thumbs to work out and treat the lower arm, encouraging the letting go again, that soft tissue, working out if there are any clicks and crunches along the way that need to be rectified. The heat at this point tells me if the flow is working well. There should be a good amount of heat, but not too hot. And then up into the right elbow, just needing a little assistance from my knee underneath to support it. And with two hands, this is where I'm tuning into the energy that flows along the elbow between my hands. I'm introducing a little movement and encouraging an opening up of that joint. I'm envisaging a beautiful green light, and the green light starts at the very center inside the elbow. And as I introduce the movement, the heat, and that sense of healing, I envisage that green light slowly growing. And as it shines and extends its rays to all sides of the elbow, this therefore brings healing. It brings an opening up, a dispelling of any tightness and stagnation, encourages flow and a relaxation of the joint. And continuing the Qigong, this time with more movement, as I let the arm tell me where it wants to go. Not going anywhere where there's tightness, only going where there is flow. And the arm is healed, it is rectified.
Thanks for watching Jodi's second part of her treatment. Join me next week for the third part. You're going to love it. Let's spread a little healing.